Connie is not in the waiting room yet. Oh, there she is. Hey, Connie, can you hear me and see me? Hey, Connie, can you hear me?
How about now?
That's good. I can hear you and see you now.
I was muted, yes.
I wanted to just make sure that you were in here and stuff before we got going, but Jim is coming in right now to start stuff. So, and we've got people in our little waiting room, and I need to button my shirt because I look like a ridiculous Fabio wannabe. How's your day going?
That's going great. I'm terribly busy. I think Jim and another customer have a competition going. Who can give me the most work?
Good problem to have.
Tell Jim he's winning, but just barely. Huh?
I'm hoping that's a good problem to have.
Oh, it is, and it, yes and no. Of course, I love the money, but you just get, when you got so much on your desk and you have to tell people that want stuff, hey, it might be 4 weeks. It's kind of stressful, because there's just so much there, and you don't, just it's life. But yeah, like you said, it's a good thing in a way, but
perhaps it'll kind of surge and wane in a way that gives you a nice, long, relaxing break. Sometime.
It usually does. Spring's usually crazy, and then everybody goes on vacation, but that's just not been happening this year because of COVID, I guess.
Right.
COVID's got everybody just working on stuff and buying stuff. I see how busy Jim is. Hey, Jim.
Right. Hey, Jim, you're muted.
How about that?
Yeah, good. We can hear you.
Hello, Connie.
Hey, how are you today?
You want me to let everyone else in?
You
want me to let everyone else in?
Yeah, start letting them in.
Okay, I'm gonna make myself disappear here.
Me too.
Grab a chair over there.
Hello, everyone joining us. Looks like we're getting several joining us. Everyone's welcome to go ahead and unmute their mic and you can talk. You're welcome to say something. Hi, Kurt. Good to see you joining us, Kurt.
Hi, everybody.
Art, Miles, Perry.
The door came yesterday.
What's that?
Hello, Jim. The door came yesterday.
Okay, good. All right. Well, we're going to give it a few more minutes before we officially start here.
How are you, Jim?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Michael and I are doing good.
Good to see you with us. Is Michael joining us or is he there?
He's at work. I don't know. It depends on if he's on his lunch break.
Well, it sucks to work, don't it? That's
Yeah, really, huh? Yeah.
Fortunately for you all, I enjoy working. So, and making trains.
How are the doggies?
Doggies are good. They're actually in the world headquarters office right here, right now, joining us for the Titan Talks.
I can't remember their names. What were the dogs' names again?
We have Nyla and Coco.
That's right. I knew it had something to do with chocolate.
Yep. And the one before Coco was Hershey, who I had for almost 18 years. Went to a lot of train meets. And then I sort of got Coco, and Nyla's a little shepherd pup. They're both a great team to have around.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to give it another moment or two here before we officially get going. Everyone say hello to Connie Miracle. Connie, wave to everybody.
Everybody.
Hi, Connie.
She's a major part of, or a reason for why your stuff looks good.
Yeah, I recognize quite a few names.
There you go. Well, looks like it's a few minutes after. We'll give it another moment or two here while we chit chat. Like I say, y'all are welcome to turn on your speakers, and we can chat for now. You can say.
I was just going to tell you, I really love that engine. It's great.
Good. Mark recently got a -9, right?
Right.
-9, an engineer car, and we failed to ship. Apparently, we failed to ship a door for the engineer car. Well, actually, we shipped it. It fell out in transit, so we just got that. But even though we went to some effort to try to secure the door from, not falling out like it did, so we know better.
Yeah, things happen,
Pete, good to see you. Pete Hart. So, all right, Ron, good to see you, Ron. Glad you're joining us. Perry, glad you're making it here.
Well, I've been looking forward to this.
Good. Thank you. Me too. Apparently, this is our first one of this year. Wow, how time flies this year.
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been that long since you've had one of these?
Apparently so. I just checked in on it. And yeah, this is the first one of 2021. I do want to have much more often than this. It does take right much effort to put these on and do them, but it's very rewarding for me. I think the people like them, and apparently there's an awful lot of people that watch these things after the fact, all across the world and the country, after these, we put them up on the website. So I do get a lot of positive response and comments, so we do want to keep them going. So with that in mind, I think we're going to officially get started with the June 24th Titan Talks 2021. I know that because I have a Titan Trains calendar.
Oh, yeah.
So, which we still have some calendars available. And remember, everybody, take pictures of yourself along with your Titan Trains equipment and send it in to us. You might make 2022. You could be your own month. So bring it on, send them on, okay? And I'm having a cold water because it is a little hot out of my Titan Trains mug. There you go, Ron. See, Ron's got one. So
I sent you a couple of the engine, but it's been around for quite a while.
there you go. All right. Well, how's everyone doing?
Pretty good.
Thumbs up. Way to go.
Good.
Well, we're today's
Busy
topic
working on the railroad.
Working on the railroad.
Right now it's too hot.
Yeah, we're building an engine house.
Are you? I always like to hear that sort of thing. Because it holds more engines and more train cars usually.
Yeah.
Which
Absolutely.
so we're, actually we are, as everything seems to come out of COVID, we've also become more busy, and which is good. We've been able to hire 2 more employees. They seem like good employees. It has taken us roughly many months to hire someone, but we have. So we're a little more than fully staffed. We have increase of business, and the big wheel of production is really starting to roll now, squirting out stuff. So, you know, it's a pleasure to see on my end, and we appreciate all the support from you all. That's a critical component for us to keep busy like we are and increase and improve products and make new products and produce the same old thing we do every day. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Whatever happens to that Titan Junior?
Well, the Titan Junior doesn't fit in well with our locomotive lineup.
Uh-huh.
We did have problems with people seeing the Titan Junior, and it is more of an entry level appropriate locomotive for entry level or just zipping around the track and work train. But it is loud and vibrates and not as pleasant to control. And unfortunately, we had a lot of people transitioning that all of our locomotives were that way, when it's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
And so it was actually bad marketing for us. And for that reason, you know, we did let it go. We can still make it on a special occasion. We do have one we're going to be making coming up soon, but it just didn't fit in well with our overall lineup of locomotives. It did serve a good purpose, but we had too many people looking at it and going, ooh, well, I don't want to Titan trains if that's what they're like.
Yeah.
When several of you can say how quite the opposite they are. So it's a good question. Mm-hmm. So any other questions before we get going here on today's presentation?
We want to see her pretty face. The heck with you.
There you go. Well, today's presentation is installing graphics. And a big part of that is Connie Miracle of Miracle Railroad Products. Say a wave to everyone, Connie.
Hi, everybody. I told Jim when he wanted to do this that he installs way more graphics than I ever have installed in my life because I'm not the installer. I make them. I don't install them.
Well, Connie does a great job. I mean, I think most all of you know that. And for those that don't, Connie does a great job providing us with graphics and a way to make the trains look good. She can take anything from picture and make it reality to a standard stock item she has. It's reasonably priced. It's good to work with. She's good to work with. And today's presentation, begins with getting the graphics from her. And then we show you several of our steps of installing graphics. While it's not comprehensive on all of the tricks of the trade, it does give you an idea of what we go through on installing graphics, some of the tricks and some of the things we do. Of course, we install a lot of graphics. So this will give you some idea of doing it. We also do paint mask and multi-layer painting. There's a little segment of that showing how we do that, which also many times involves Connie's graphic work, supplying paint mask for us to go by to add to the locomotives, usually locomotives, sometimes train cars. Anything you want to say else, Connie, before we get going? Because there'll be questions afterwards.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead with your presentation. Yeah, I appreciate so much all of you. But
right.
let's watch Jim and them install.
All right, Corey, let that beautiful install graphic footage roll.
All right, hang tight one sec. Can you see that, everybody?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Mm.
I like that comment.
Yeah.
All right.
Very nice.
Well, thank you, Connie.
I agree with the front part, because whenever I try, I hate all that measuring and just making it perfect. I just want to slap it on there. Of course, usually it's crooked.
Well, hopefully we make it look easy.
You do. Your guy's been doing it how long? Very long time, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, we've been in business almost 38 years, but really doing trains for only about 30. And we've been
Long
using your
time.
graphics ever since you came out with them, I think. You know,
Yeah, 1999.
yeah. And we've been using more and more, I think. And I think we're using right many these days of your graphics.
Oh, yes, yes. Right now, I've got so much stuff on my desk. You and everybody else. It's like I'm afraid that people just are getting tired of waiting. But it's only me. I try to get David here to help, but he's not very good at it.
Wave, David. There you go. Well, that's our presentation, and that is uploaded on YouTube on the Titan Trains website in full, separate, so you can always watch it by itself, or you can watch the this whole Titan Talks presentation, which will be uploaded on the website, available on next Tuesday. Any questions on what we do? That's bound to have generated something, or what Connie does, or how to get graphics.
No, that was really informative on how to do that. I really like that presentation. That was great.
Well, thank you. Like I say, it's not comprehensive, but it gives you a broad brushstroke of what we go through to put graphics on. And we do it every day.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I have a bobber caboose with the sides that are, it's rough, meaning that there's grooves every like half inch. I think actually it's one of yours, an older one.
Uh-huh.
How would you recommend, what would you recommend how to do the graphics on that side? Because the paint mask would bleed up the little channels, or the vinyl wouldn't go into the grooves. How do you do something like that?
Well, on the wooden caboose type, something like that, it is difficult. It depends on the graphic. In some cases, you just put the graphic on like it's a flat piece of material. And if that's acceptable and looks good enough to you, that's one way to do it. To poke the vinyl graphic in each groove is time consuming and can be done. But it does take time, and it can produce pretty good results. But it also depends on the graphic, how the graphic accepts material going into the groove, as far as making the graphic, the overall presentation of the graphic, because now you're you're changing the flow of the graphic. If you use paint mask, it's similar, but you do have to paint mask and push the tape and paper into the groove. So it is very time consuming. So anytime you're doing graphics, I mean, a quick job for us on graphics, a quickie job, we'll spend at least 4 hours on a car. And I'm talking about a quickie job. The average job takes more than that. And this is by, you know, some guys here that know how to do it and do it often and are pretty good at it.
Okay, thanks.
Could I offer a suggestion?
All right.
Yeah, well, if, especially on the wooden sides where you have the grooves, put the thing down first, you know, and flatten it out well. That way, the whole graphic from a distance is properly spaced. Then you take and heat the areas where the grooves are with something that's fine, not sharp, but fine, so that it kind of stretches into the groove, but yet the rest of the graphics is all properly placed.
You can try that. Our experience with the vinyl, it's hard to stretch in some of the grooves because the grooves on the bobber caboose are fairly substantial and prominent. And that does present the problem of getting the graphic down into groove. It's a good looking groove and looks like a wooden caboose, but the downside is it is tough to graphic and get the stuff into the groove, but it's worth a try.
Yeah, you know, vinyl also, it has a memory, which is, it sounds strange, but you can stretch it and then it'll go back to its original shape. So you have to think about that too.
So
All right.
trial and error, especially on something like that, it might take more than one set, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've heard people say that they spray a clear coating on first to give the graphics something to bite into when they're doing wood. Have you ever done that?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
when we do it, we generally, now everything we do is, even with the wood, is base coat, clear coat. So
So you already have it clear coated.
yeah, we're using clear coat. In the past, we used acrylic enamel or house paint on the wood. Now that's some time ago. And actually the graphic doesn't, as I recall, doesn't want to stick as well to
Right.
some latex paints or paint something from Lowe's.
Mm-hmm.
If you use the clear coat, do you just spray or do you just put the clear coat under the graphic, or do you do the whole car with the clear coat if it's wood?
Well, we would clear coat the whole car just anyway. And one thing before I forget, do not clear coat over the graphics. Vinyl graphics is not meant to be clear coated over top the vinyl. This is not like decals, or a lot of you might be model railroaders. It's not like decals where you put a coat over the graphic. Now, I guess you agree with this, Connie, but I mean, that's our experience.
Yeah, well, people ask me that all the time, and I tell them that it's not necessary, but they still want to do it. And I say, well, if you want to do it, then test something first. Put it on something else. Spray whatever you're spraying on it. Test it.
Yeah.
If it turns out great for you, then do it if you really want to do it, because they think, well, it'll help a kid's foot scratching it off, or, you know, whatever. So people do it.
I raise my hand to don't do it, because vinyl graphics are on many things you see in the world today, from semi trucks to vehicle wraps. They are put on. The vinyl is good stuff.
That's right. It's, you know, I use outdoor quality vinyl. It's cast, which means it's really thin, and it's made to last. If you left your car outdoors 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days, whatever, then on a vehicle, on a car, then you're going to last 7-8 years. But who leaves their car outside all the time? Practically nobody. So it could last forever. I've had customers say, I've had your stuff on my product for 20 years.
So clear coat is meant to stick to other surfaces besides vinyl. I'm afraid you would get problems with the clear coat over the vinyl, and it would look bad eventually. It's not going to help make it better in the long run. But going back to the question of clear coating under where the graphic is, that would be hard to do. And you almost have to end up clear coating the whole wooden car, I would say.
Right, that's what they do,
But it-
yeah.
So do you use a gloss or semi-gloss, or any of those are okay? They stick the same, the vinyl stick the same to those?
Again, I'm not the painter. I'll just tell you, this is what my customers tell me was they clear coat first on wood when it's really rough wood, I guess, and that gives the decal something to bite into. So I
'Cause,
don't
mean,
do
some-
it.
Yeah, some cars you don't want a glossy finish to, others you
Right.
do. And a gloss would stick well, but the satin or, the lower coat type coats, I just wondered if they stick as well. And
I really
Okay.
don't know.
On our base
It
coat,
should stick.
with painting the metals and even the wood, most of the products we do are gloss, and we can do a semi-gloss, and it sticks equally well to both. But all of that changes if you're using household paints like latexes or an
No.
oil base, gloss or semi-gloss. You would. I don't have a good recommendation in that direction.
Yeah, don't do that.
all righty.
Satin should work just as well, because all the gloss is doing is giving you a nice smooth finish, filling in the imperfections in the wood. Like Jim says, as long as it's not one of the cheap household type things and it's a real gloss, the sheen shouldn't make any difference as far as sticking.
Hmm.
And to a certain extent, we're a little spoiled on what we do here for the product. We're using paint that's on the average $400 a gallon, spraying cars. So it's the good stuff, and we're putting the good vinyl graphics over the good stuff.
A good paint job is always the best where to start.
But it
Yeah.
is tougher on wood, and we have less experience on wood, except I'm interested in hearing how it turns out for you. And then I'll have a little more experience. I know what we do works, but we're not using, we're using industrial stuff and automotive productions materials. So we have a little different outlook on it and availability on what we do.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards actually using a paint mask, which means I'll have to come back and hand touch the bleeds in the channels.
Yeah.
Which, it'll take some time and but hopefully from a distance, if you got really up close, you probably could see, the touch ups, but from a distance, it'll probably look good. So I'm going to try that, before I do a bigger area, and I might go a different route after that.
We have to touch up masking ourselves. It's not unusual. On a locomotive that has a lot of paint mask, we can spend easily 30 to 40 hours masking and painting the locomotive. So but it looks good. It'll turn out very good. There is a correlation sometimes between the amount of time and money spent on the paint and graphics and the quality of the job.
Yeah, I've used both, and I did a gondola, Reading lettering, and it came out really good paint mask. But I did have the mask, it bled under the mask in just a few places, but I was really careful. It took a long time to get the mask on properly, and you just can't help it with that much area and stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
But it came out looking really well. And now that I did clear coat over top of and it has held tremendously well.
Good.
There I used a good Rust-Oleum underneath, the oil base, not their latex, but their oil base. And it worked out well.
Okay, great.
On those, in the video, you talked about removing the rivets and then putting the graphic over the hole. Do you reinsert the rivet then after you've got the graphic in place, or do you just leave that? There is no rivet there anymore.
There is no rivet there. The graphic, and it's a judgment call to what looks better. Trying to go over the rivet, and it's very difficult to go over a whole rivet without some puckering or some noticeable evidence that you're going over a rivet, because Connie uses the good stuff, which has a memory to it, and it makes it difficult to do that. It's all her fault. So sometimes it's a compromise where you can take out that dummy rivet, put the graphic over it. You don't miss the rivet all that much because the graphic is the thing you're looking at. And to put the rivet back, you would then have to match the paint or the color of the graphic, which is a whole nother process.
Okay.
Any other good questions?
I got a question for Connie.
Yeah, go ahead.
So do I understand that you'll can put together a graphic from like a picture or a drawing that somebody could send you?
Well, I of course want it to be the best drawing you can find me and I can see good, but I do draw all the time from graphics that, pictures people send me. I just scan it on the computer or take a picture of it and just go into my drawing program and draw on top of it. So I'm gotten pretty good at it after all these years, but it's not my favorite thing to do, but sure.
I'll give you an example. She did one where I had a Lionel O gauge car that I took a picture of, and she did the graphic from it.
I do that all the time.
All the way down to the very small numbers.
If you have something you want to, that to match up exactly, a car, so a lot of people take their HO scale things and say, I want my car to look just like this. If you have good pictures, you can send them to me online. I've had people mail me the car, which most of the time that's not necessary. I've had people say, just keep the car afterwards too, which is great because David here, he's an HO guy. He has some HO stuff downstairs. I think he's even got a locomotive somebody sent us. But we really don't need the car because pictures, you can get good pictures nowadays so easily. It's just you got to learn to take straight photos if you want me to draw it proportionally. Yeah, I do that all the time, work from people's photos. It's probably 50-50. Half the time people will order from my catalog and half the time they'll just say, I want this and send me a picture of it. So either way works. I'm easy.
I can tell you
If someone sends you,
I can tell you that
Go ahead,
the presentation, the car that we did in this presentation, we sent her a picture, and it was earlier in the presentation. We sent her that picture for her to do the graphics of that car. So I don't know how she did it, but she went off of a picture of a model train.
And I couldn't say I remember. Usually I'll go online and I'll search and search and search to find the best possible thing I can find to go by.
once you make a graphic for a special graphic for an individual customer, do you then add that to your catalog? If it's not so much if it's a fictitious railroad, but let's say a fallen flat, Minneapolis, Northfield, and Southern, you'd make that. Would you then add that to your catalog? Or?
Yes, I mean, I haven't updated my catalog in forever, so I have so much stuff that's not on there because I just don't have time to do that. But yeah, in other words, I keep the files. I always have the files if somebody wants something, so I can go back and get it. You can order it 20 years later. So the files are there, and if somebody asks for it, yes, I'll use it for them, definitely. Like I said, everything's kept.
I hope you back up those hard drives.
Oh, yes, I keep trying to remember to do that all the time. Yes, I have a backup system.
Excuse me. Is it possible to get some information on what you do? Basically, because I just tuned in and I'm like almost either in the middle or at the end of this session here. I do have some cars I like to have graphics done.
Our website is miraclerailroadproducts.com. We do
What
have
was
an
that again?
online catalog, miraclerailroadproducts.com. And we have an online catalog. There's a lot of customer photos on there. Some people even look through the customer photos and say, I want that. So you can do that. Again, send me a picture, whatever you'd like.
Can you tell me again what that first word was? It is all mumbled.
Miracle. Our last name is Miracle.
Oh,
So
Miracle.
our railroad, yeah,
Okay.
miraclerailroadproducts.com.
And there's a page showing that on the presentation, the YouTube presentation by itself is uploaded to the Titan Trains website. So if you wanted to rewatch it, you can see it right now. And there's a page that shows Connie Miracle's information on how to get to her website and contact her.
Thank you.
Hey, Jim,
Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering, I've been waiting years and years to meet Connie. You have done such incredible graphics for us at the Los Angeles Live Steamers.
Thank you so much.
There was one train tank car that I did that was a mystery oil.
Yes.
And the decaling was 3 levels or 3 layers of decaling. That was an experience that I will, well, I don't want to do it again, but it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful when it was done. The way that you laid it out, it made it so easy to apply. And I'm one of those guys that has a wooden boxcar that is riveted or has the deep cuts in the side. And I think we ended up putting that red hook decal on a very thin plastic. And we just laid it on top of the boxcar. So I hope that helps Chris with his answer.
Yeah, that could be another way to do it. I thought about putting like a wood placard or whatever, but
Yeah.
I'll try a couple different things. I've gotten some good suggestions now.
And one of the other things about Connie's operation is that if you screw it up, you just call her up and say, I need another set of decals.
Yeah.
Or make the decals slightly bigger or slightly smaller. But you guys are amazing. And it's
Thank
really,
you. We appreciate it.
really a pleasure to meet you.
Well, Connie makes us look good. Thank you.
I appreciate all my wonderful customers. I've got lots of them, and you're just all just been wonderful. I don't have a bad customer anywhere.
They better not. And Jim, your trains are beautiful. So,
Well, thank you.
bottom line.
Anyone else? We're going to run out of time here in a few minutes, but anyone else want to chime in and say something or ask a question? Got a good forum going on here.
Hey, Jim, this is Dean Willoughby out in southern Las Vegas, Nevada this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Something you consider, I did a gondola here just a while ago, and after I got finished, I said, it's hard to get this stuff on straight.
Yep.
I had it sitting on a table. So then I go and look. So you know what I had in my back closet? Go out and get yourself a Harbor Freight laser level. Set it up behind you. It will again give you that line across the car so you can get everything perfectly aligned, using a rivet line.
Yeah, okay. Good idea.
Because after I did this thing, said, why didn't I do that? I mean, I've been using laser level for track work here for the last year and a half. And I said, why didn't I do that? It's $29 for a laser level. I mean, it gives you a dot and it also gives you that horizontal line.
Good idea. Good idea. That's a good one for everyone to keep in mind. In fact, we'll look into it.
Yeah, because like I said, if you're not laying the car down, but you've actually got it sitting upright like you had on a track or something like that.
Mhm.
I guess you get in there, you can, with the adjustments on there, you can get that laser so that it's spot right on horizontal of the car.
Mhm.
Use the laser level to get your market with very fine marking, then lay the car down so you're working on a horizontal surface, but use the laser to give you the
Give you the marks.
marks to work from.
Mhm.
Because
Yep.
working on it vertically
All
is
right.
hard.
All right, anyone else? Any other questions? Well, I certainly appreciate y'all joining us, and thanks a lot to Connie Miracle for providing us with the stuff that makes us look good, and being a part of the hobby community here. And it's great to have you, Connie. Thanks a whole lot.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate that. It's wonderful, and I enjoy seeing all of you, and hope to hear from all of you. Maybe see you all sometime. Travel around a lot right now. We've got a 15-year-old Sheltie who's not doing well, and but eventually David retired, so eventually we'll start traveling a little more. Maybe see y'all somewhere at a train meet.
You're up in New England, aren't you?
No, we're in Georgia.
Oh, you're down in
Oh,
Georgia.
Georgia.
I thought you were up in New England.
Yep, she's in Georgia, and we're in Virginia. And this has been Titan Talks, installing graphics. And as a quick side note, I think Perry, you gave us a mention that you would like to see this type of Titan Talks, and so we do take suggestions from you all on topics. I do want to do these more often than we have this year, so hopefully we'll do another one next month. But it does take us some time to do it, and we need to spend our time making trains, because when you have a train on order from us, that's what you want me doing, is making trains. So we keep doing that, but we want to squeeze in some Titan Talks as we go. And so keep the cards and letters coming on any topics. We'll have another one sometime next month in July. And thanks for everyone for joining us at Titan Talks on June the 24th, 2021, coming to you from Boonsville, Virginia. And see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks a lot.
Y'all take care.